What is up, guys? Isaac here. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5 limiting beliefs you need to eliminate if you want to make more money. Look, I'm on the mission to make my first million before I turn 30, and I'm well on the way of achieving that. But before I was able to do this, before I was able to level up in terms of the amount of money I was able to make, I had to really question and scrutinize some of the assumptions that I had, some of the fundamental assumptions that were given to me from society, from parents, from friends. So in this video, I'm going to show you 5 of those big assumptions that you likely do have as well, and we're going to eliminate them together. Number 5, people who have money, people who are wealthy are in some way evil. And this is a belief that's kind of propagated through mass media all the time. There was actually a study done by a media company in Virginia where they found that after analyzing 863 different sitcoms, movies, shows on popular networks in America, wealthy, successful corporate types always were depicted in a negative light, or tended to be depicted in a negative light more often. They were murderers, they were criminals, up to no good, psychopaths. And this is a common theme you see all the time. Like the archetype I always present to people is Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, this guy who's just greedy for money, who's ready to dispose of his employees whenever they don't fit in with his agenda. Another example is Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob SquarePants, this guy who just loves money so much.
Congratulations, Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
What inspired you to build a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Money.
So they're often depicted in this negative light. And as a result, there's a lot of suspicion when we see people who have money. We always think that they somehow did some sort of shady deal to get there. They stepped on some necks, betrayed some friends, and this is simply not true. I realize that this particular belief has fair grounding. You see, in the past, when people had monarchies, kings and queens, and there was like a social class that you had to report to, if you were a peasant, you couldn't make money, right? It just wasn't in your books. If you weren't born into that type of family, name, or prestige, there was no options for you. And there were some people that were just by the merit of their birth able to have a very prosperous life, able to have vast amounts of wealth. So this belief was kind of pushed down from family to family and is still alive at large today. The problem is we're living in a world full of opportunities where the internet and a lot of these technologies, blockchain, AI, code, have equalized the playing field. So if you are still holding on to this limiting belief that rich people are evil, that you have to be born into that class, you're just setting yourself up for failure, and there's not going to be much success for you there. Another element where you see this limiting belief is in religious people. You know, in the Bible, there's verses like something like, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. So we have a lot of these ideas in different texts, different areas of society that make us think that money is evil, people with money are evil, and if you want it, you are evil. And of course, we don't like cognitive dissonance. We don't want to hold on to 2 conflicting beliefs at once because that creates a sense of discomfort. So you can't be simultaneously good, honorable, have integrity, and all these positive qualities that we like to attribute to ourselves, and pursue money and have wealth with that belief. So that's one belief you need to eliminate. That's not true. There's a lot of people out there that are doing good with their money. There's a lot of people that are the best people you ever meet in your life that have never crossed over someone else, that have made money through integrous means. I'm not even sure if that's a word, through integrity. So eliminate that belief that money is evil and the people that have money are evil. That's just completely nonsense. Limiting belief number 4, money does not buy happiness. And this is one of those stupid ones that is always being said. Yeah, it is true, money doesn't buy happiness, but having a wife doesn't buy happiness. Having children doesn't buy happiness. Living in a good city doesn't buy happiness. Like, there's a lot of positive things that do not guarantee happiness. Happiness is a complex thing. It's not as simple as an equation where you just put in some sort of variable there and you get the answer. You don't just have money and then have happiness. You don't just have a family and then have happiness. It's a lot more nuanced than that, but people want to boil it down to simple concepts. So when people say money doesn't buy happiness, they're referring to certain people, usually celebrities, that have a lot of money, that end up being depressed or suicidal or whatever because of a bunch of other various issues in their life that they haven't dealt with. And people then make the judgment that, oh, look, this person is not happy. Money doesn't buy happiness. Ends up being a cop-out for them not having to do work. It's like a rationalization. I don't have this, so I'm going to justify where I'm at now by bringing down someone else and saying, look, they're not happy. Look at these examples. There's plenty of examples where money does indeed buy happiness. Like if you are living in a war-torn country and you've got no money, part of that is because of the situation you're in. And if you had money, yeah, you could go to somewhere else that has more liberties, that takes care of its citizens better, or it has more opportunities where you can then find better friends, a better social circle, cleaner water, better food, better living conditions. You can't tell me that doesn't buy happiness. So this is one of those axioms that's just thrown out all the time. Money doesn't buy happiness. More money, more problems. That's just completely ridiculous. Whenever someone tries to tell you something through a phrase, you know that they're bullshitting, because life is a lot more complex than that. Phrase and labels are meant to simplify things, but that's not the world we live in. We don't live in a simple world. So forget this idea that money doesn't buy happiness. Money is a tool, just like anything. Oxygen doesn't make you happy, but you need oxygen. Without oxygen, you die. So think of it that way. Number 3, and this is one I get a lot from coaching students, you need to be smart. You need to be lucky. Oh, I hate that word. Lucky to make money. This is because of the schooling system most of the time, where we're taught to associate intelligence with doing well in life. When I was in school, the teachers always used to tell me, you gotta get good grades, because if you get good grades, you do well in your final exam. If you do well in your final exam, you get a good degree. If you get a good degree, you get a good job and you live a happy life. So I kind of followed that path for a long time until I decided to say, fuck it, I'm gonna do my own thing. And I realized that that's all a lie. There are plenty of people with high level degrees, plenty of intelligent people that don't have any money. Plenty of intelligent people that have no idea what they're doing with their personal finances, that have enormous debt, that have no idea what to do with investments. So there's different types of people in the world. You have smart people in certain areas. You have people that might not be as intelligent or have as high of an IQ, but that has nothing to do with your ability to make money, right? Making money is a skill set. And you don't have to have a raw intelligence to make that skill set. Oftentimes, having that raw intelligence is a hindrance, because you use your intelligence to find ways to not take the necessary actions. Use your intelligence to find ways into why learning how to code is a bad idea. Your intelligence stops you from building that business because you look at the statistics and you hear that most businesses fail. Your intelligence stops you from looking at, cryptocurrency or DeFi, these new investment opportunities, because someone told you that this is very volatile, this is very bad, and you looked the other way. So intelligence sometimes makes you too cautious and unable to pull the trigger and just do it. It's kind of like, dating girls. A lot of times the guy who doesn't think that much, who just goes up and approaches girls, say, hey, what's up? What's your number? Ends up being more successful than the smart guy who's thinking about every single situation that can happen, who's very alert. The other aspect of this is luck. And this comes from people looking at lottery winners, which is obviously a probability thing. And they're like, oh, wow, this person is lucky. They made this money. People looking at movie stars and saying, oh, wow, this person is lucky. They had this breakout role. But in every single event, there was a series of actions that were hidden below the surface. It's kind of like you have an iceberg. You see the top of the iceberg, and below the iceberg is the deeper story, is the substance. So for these breakout movie stars or influencers that you see making money overnight, in reality, they worked to get to that position 99% of the time. They learned particular skills. They learn how to edit their videos. They learn how to speak. They learn how to dance. They learned how to act. They did a lot of gigs that no one paid attention to. There was a lot of work that was happening before. It's just that you see the spotlight. Hollywood is partly to blame for this. In Hollywood, or the movies, think of Rocky 3 or Rocky 4, goes to training. He goes to training for like 2 weeks, and then he's ripped. He's got a friggin' six-pack. He's got a big chest. He wins and beats the champion. It's always this story of this underdog coming out of nowhere, being lucky, and being successful. Whereas in the real world, everything has its steps that precede it. Even the lottery winner had to probably buy a couple hundred or thousand lottery tickets before winning that lottery ticket. It wasn't just the luck of getting one lottery ticket. It's a probability thing. So get rid of that idea that you have to be smart, you have to be lucky to make money. Just take a quick Google search and you'll find lots of people that are not smart, lots of people that were not lucky and just kept persisting that made a lot of money. Number 2, money is a zero-sum game. So in game theory, there's a concept called zero-sum game, which basically is a game where there is a winner and a loser. Think of chess, where there needs to be a winner or a loser, checkers, or any type of game where there's this exchange where we both can't win. That's a zero-sum game. Let's say that we have, 3 lollies in a jar. If I take out a lolly, there's only 2 lollies left. You take out a lolly or a piece of candy, there's only 1 left. There's a limited finite amount of resources within the confines of the system. That's what a zero-sum game is. So people think that money is a zero-sum game. For them to get money, somebody else needs to lose. Somebody needs to be upset. Somebody needs to get the shorter end of the stick. But this is not the reality of the situation. You see, money is something that we can create. Value is something we can create. When you use your mind to come up with a situation or a product or service or investment that provides value into the world, you can basically create money. You can have a situation where someone else wins and you win. Think of social media, think of the internet, think of blockchain. All these technologies that have happened have made more wealth in the world because of them. And a lot of these technologies were mined through someone's mind. This is the greatest mine in the world, not the ground, not the gold, or whatever ore people dig up. The mind is the greatest mine of them all. And through using your mind, you can literally think yourself to being rich. Think and Grow Rich. That's a great book. It's got a lot of truth in it. So money is not a zero-sum game. Stop thinking in terms of winners and losers. You don't have to screw people over. There are many of situations where we can all win. Just think of this YouTube channel right here. I make money from this YouTube channel, but am I taking anything from you? You could say I'm taking your attention, but you're choosing to click on this video, to watch this video, to gain some value, and I'm profiting off that. Where's the money coming from, right? There's AdSense on this video. There's adverts that play before this. Advertisers get an opportunity to show their products in front of this video where people can possibly buy it. Everybody's winning. Nobody's losing. YouTube gets their cut. It's perfect. And there's many situations like this. It doesn't always have to be winner versus loser. Number 1, this is a super popular one. Money doesn't grow on trees. And what this presupposes is that money is hard to come by. Money is something that we need to protect. We need to put on a pedestal. We need to make it a god. And it's really sad because a lot of people sacrifice a lot of things for money. They sacrifice their mental health. They sacrifice relationships with their family. They sacrifice their happiness just in order to get money because of this fundamental assumption that money doesn't grow on trees. Money is something that's hard to get. Money is something you have to pretty much praise like a god. Money is God. And this limits you incredibly. The reality is money is not even real. It's a concept. It's something we put value to. We all agree that this pillow here is worth $10, right? Who came up with that? It's just something we both agree. In a million years, maybe this is the last red pillow on the earth. This is now worth $1 million. And we can create value, as I said before. It's not a real thing. When companies have these huge debts and they just default, it disappears, and then what? The governments are constantly printing money, things are moving up and down. It's a concept that we all agree on. So don't put so much weight into it, right? Don't sacrifice your life for a concept. Learn the rules of money, learn how to play the game, learn how to take advantage of whatever opportunities you have in front of you to make more money, but never lose sight of the fact that it's a concept. There's so many people out there that have made lots of money in their lives. They've got millions of dollars piled up in the bank and they're watching the money go up. They're seeing the interest go up. They got investments, but they're afraid to buy themselves simple things. They're afraid to go out and buy new clothes because they are imprisoned by the concept of money. They know that that $20 or that $100 that they could spend on those new clothes could be put into an investment and they could see more money. They got bamboozled by this idea. They are more concerned with the numbers going up than the actual function of money. Remember, money is a tool. It's meant to realize particular things. We use money to buy food. We use money to buy new things. We use money to create new situations, to bring new things into the world. Don't get caught up with it. I always talk to people about how much money they want to make. And a lot of people, want to make six figures. A lot of people want to make millions of dollars, whatnot. But when you ask them, why do you want to make that money? They have no reason, no justification. They don't really know why they chose that amount. It just sounds like a good number. But personally, I would rather make less money and be happier and living in good conditions than make more money and be a slave. I've seen many people make this mistake. They get a job that offers them a particular salary. They're working 2 times harder. They're 3 times more stressed. They don't see their friends. They don't see their family. But they stick with that job because the number is higher. They don't even get to enjoy the money, but they stick with it because money has become their slave. Money doesn't grow on trees. I'd much rather make half that money but have freedom. Be able to go for a walk on the beach. Be able to do what I want. Be stress-free and enjoy myself. So don't lose track of the point of money. It's a function. It needs to serve a purpose. And when you have that in mind and you eliminate a limiting belief of putting on a pedestal, you can make better decisions. You can take risks, right? Conscious strategic risks, because you know that it's not even real, that you're going to be okay. Even if you lose all your money today, as an entrepreneur, this is a very important mindset. You can make that shit tomorrow because the real wealth is in your mind. So guys, those are 5 quick limiting beliefs you need to overcome about money. And it doesn't matter if you're trying to make an extra $20 a day, if you're trying to make an extra $10 million a day, we all have these limiting beliefs that stop us. As soon as we eliminate them, we allow ourselves to unlock new possibilities, to take ourselves to new heights, because they act kind of like blocks, really. And once you remove that block, you're free to go wherever you want. Comment down below what limiting belief you have about money. Maybe your parents told you it, maybe society told you about it. What did you have to overcome about money? Because I've got many that I've had to overcome. There's still more, and I'm getting myself to new heights. And as I get there, I find more and more limiting beliefs that I didn't even think existed. It's really interesting how the subconscious mind works and how we can basically recreate ourselves. Do this, and I promise you'll be one step closer to living and dying well. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell notifications so we can see more of each other. Until next time.